Match day 3 of the Champions League this week has come to a close. The games finished up yesterday, so you know what we got to do. We got to go through each match, give our thoughts, give a little breakdown, and see where every team is at in the Champions League so far. We're going to break down the performances we saw this week. Liverpool, City, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Bayern, PSG. We're going to break it all down. We're going to go through each fixture. And yeah, we're not going to go through every game in depth, but I'm just going to give my quick thoughts on the main things we learned this week in the Champions League from some of the key fixtures. So yeah, we're going to get right into it. By the way, I changed my YouTube channel like profile picture / logo. It's now like supposed to be a cartoon version of me in this hat. I kind of like it. If you care to comment on it, let me know if you like it or not. But yeah, I can always revert back to the old one if people think the new one sucks. But anyway, without further ado, we got a lot of games to go through. Let's not waste time. I don't want to waste your guys' time. Let's get into it. Starting off with Tuesday's games. Let's start with the Barcelona game, 6-1 at home. This was first of all, Olympiacos were horrible. They got a red card. Sure, that had a part to play with it, but even when Olympiacos had all 11 men on the pitch, Barcelona they ran through them like a hot knife through butter. Is that the saying? They ran through these dudes, Olympiacos. They were bums on this night, and Barcelona dropping a 6 piece. I think some of the key features of this match are probably the fact that Yamal had a really good game. Fermin Lopez hat-trick, Yamal had a really good game, and that Dro Fernandez kid, just another, 16 almost or 17-year-old talent from La Masia starting this game, and I think he got an assist. He had a goal contribution or two in this game as well. Just another La Masia bright star starting in a Champions League game for Barcelona against Olympiacos at home, and he drops a very good performance. So for Barcelona, back to business, 6-1. Fermin Lopez putting his name out there. Now, for Barcelona, everyone's always going to have questions about defense, the high line, the offside trap. Cool. We're not going to talk about it. Everyone knows that's how you get at Barcelona. But what I do find interesting is who will establish themselves as the number 10 for Barcelona this season, because last year Dani Olmo had his first season, and when he was fit, usually it was Dani Olmo starting a lot of games at the 10. But with the way Fermin Lopez has started this season, he's much more available than Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo is way too injury prone, and when he is fit this season, he's been inconsistent. Fermin Lopez has been available, been playing games, and he drops a hat-trick in this game. So the Dani Olmo versus Fermin Lopez conundrum at Barcelona, I'm keeping my eye on that. But Barcelona in general, obviously they're one of the favorites of the Champions League this year. Everyone knows the main way to get at them is through their high line. But when they attack like this, when Yamal is playing like how he did in this game, again, Barcelona's just going to prove to be such a difficult team to deal with. I'm expecting for Barcelona, even though we're 3 match days in only, I'm expecting Barcelona to go to a semifinal again, to be honest. This is how much I trust Barcelona. This is how much I trust Hansi Flick. So yeah, 6-1, Olympiacos. Embarrassing. At least shut up shop. At least play fully ultra defensive 9 men in the box, because they went down to 10 men. Do something. I hate when teams just start getting smacked up and they submit and they give up. That's what Olympiacos did. They basically submitted and gave up to Barcelona this game. And I hate when these lower tier teams in the Champions League just do that. I don't get it. I really don't. Why not just stuff guys into the box, Getafe style, and try to make life hard at least, but whatever. This isn't a video about Olympiacos because we don't analyze bums. 6-1 Barcelona. Momentum maybe for El Clasico this weekend on Sunday. This can be a momentum game. I don't know, especially after Real Madrid's performance against such a trash Juventus team, which we'll get to in a bit. 6-1 performance giving them confidence for El Clasico? I don't know. Maybe. Kairat versus Paphos. We're not going to talk about this too much, but I think the most disappointing thing about Kairat versus Paphos is that there wasn't a winner. I think that's got to be the most disappointing thing because these teams are not going to get points, or most likely not going to get any points or any wins. 100% Paphos and Kairat will not get any wins in any of their other games. This was the game where one of these two teams can actually come away with a win and say, go back home and say, oh, at the end of the day, we actually won a game in the Champions League. This was their chance to get a win, just a single win in the Champions League. But they couldn't do it. That's how this is how bummy these teams are. So, very disappointing. Very disappointing. If anything, it was on Kairat to get the win. After what I saw against Real Madrid at home, it wasn't the most impressive, but it was better than what I saw from Paphos from the opening game. So, embarrassing. And Paphos got a red card as well, down to 10 men. And just two bomb teams. So, we're not going to spend too much time there. Arsenal versus Atleti. I already did a video on Arsenal yesterday. So go back and watch that if you want to see more analysis on the Arsenal versus Atleti game. But just a great game from Arsenal. Great game from Arsenal, 4-0. A lot of people going to the game, very easy analysis of this tie was, oh, it's going to be Harambal. Oh, Arteta versus Simeone, the masters of terrorism. But, and you actually, you know what? In the first half, it was like the first half wasn't great. The first half wasn't entertaining. I won't lie. But in the second half, like I said in my video earlier this week, Arsenal just came alive. Martinelli, Saka, Gyökeres. I mean, they just went to flow. Gabriel, consistently Gabriel from center back, getting goal contributions this season for Arsenal. People troll them. Set piece FC, set piece FC, set piece again, set piece again, set piece again. You know what I mean? But you have to sit back and respect it. Like, it's crazy. It's genuinely crazy how effective, how efficient they are on set pieces. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I have to admit, I'm jealous. But yeah, 4-0 win, smashing Atleti. This is an Atleti team. Remember, 2.5 weeks ago, they smashed the Real Madrid 5-2. And in this game, Atleti, they didn't offer anything. Really, Atleti didn't offer anything. The only guy for Atleti that posed any sort of threat to Arsenal's back line was Julian Alvarez. That's it. It was basically Julian Alvarez versus Arsenal's entire defense in midfield. And he still managed to almost score a banger hitting the crossbar. And he put in Giuliano Simeone on a beautiful one-on-one with a great through ball that his bum-ass teammate Simeone freaking squandered. So that's all Atletico Madrid had. Julian Alvarez and Inshallah. But for Arsenal, great win. Momentum in the Champions League, momentum in the Premier League. They're building something. You know, I think this could be a year where Arsenal finally deliver on one of the big two trophies, either the Premier League or the Champions League. What I'll tell you now is this. Arsenal will not win both the Premier League and the Champions League. I can guarantee you that. I would bet my house on that Arsenal don't win the league and the Champions League double. They don't. They're just not good enough for that. They don't have the experience for that. But nevertheless, great win for Arsenal, 4-0. Leverkusen versus PSG, a game where we saw 2 red cards. Yeah, I don't know. You guys, as a Bundesliga fan, this was not a good week for the Bundesliga. Outside of Bayern and Dortmund, who got their wins, got them done professionally. This is a horrible game. 7-2. I was watching this one. I was kind of flipping between this game and Arsenal Atleti, but bro, this could have been 10. This could have been 10. And the dangerous thing and the most scary thing about this game is that PSG in that first half, in the second half, PSG took over. Leverkusen kind of just shelled back up. They couldn't really do anything. But in that first half, even when PSG weren't playing like to their absolute best, the goals these guys scored in that second half, ridiculous. Both of Desiree Doué's goals. The first one, he falls in the box, but he has the composure to get back up and take a quick touch and slot it into the bottom right-hand corner. Kivicha's goal. The ball pops up to him on the top of the box. He takes a one-time shot. It goes off both posts and in. And then Desiree Doué's goal to end the half. Just another excellent shot from just outside the 18, bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, and PSG wasn't even like, wow, this is the treble PSG in the first half. The first half was, for most of it, relatively like pretty well contested. And then eventually Leverkusen just collapsed. Leverkusen, Bumkusen, they just collapsed. The defenders forgot how to defend. The midfielders forgot how to play football, forgot how to pass, forgot how to tackle, forgot how to press. But if we're being real, this Leverkusen team is not the same Leverkusen team of Xabi Alonso's invincible Leverkusen. That whole team was stripped apart. I think the only players off the top of my head that I remember, there's only like 4 or 5 players for this Leverkusen team that are still there, of the key players. Wirtz, Xhaka, Jonathan Tah, Jeremy Frimpong, all these guys left. All these guys are gone. So it's not the same Leverkusen team. Xabi Alonso obviously isn't there. They have Kasper Humlin as the coach, former Denmark manager. So these, people shouldn't have had an expectation for Leverkusen to really push PSG here and get a win. That was unrealistic. I knew Leverkusen would lose, but to lose 7-2, again, like the Olympiacos situation, when you're starting to get smashed and you're at home too, Leverkusen, just shut up shop. Just make things difficult. Why you gotta concede 7? Because in the second half, some of those goals were just so easy for PSG. Some of those goals were just way too easy for PSG. The Vitinha goal, Dembele's goal right when he came on. Schoolboy shit. So I can't take away too much from PSG here. I think the PSG versus Bayern is the next game. That'll be a good game to see where PSG and where Bayern is. Because I don't know. Yes, they scored 7 goals. I don't know how much confidence, I don't know how much hype we can take away from this game, taking into account how shit Leverkusen were. Yeah. So 7-2 for PSG. Copenhagen hosting Dortmund. Again, all I want to see from Dortmund to show me that they're serious, to show me that they're not this bozo team, is to go to grounds like this. You guys, Copenhagen away is a tough ground. It is a tough ground. And they went there, got the 4 goals, professional, done. 3 points. We move on. That's all I kind of wanted to see from Dortmund. Joe Bellingham gets on the score sheet as well after his horrible mistake against Bayern on the weekend. So glad to see that he's not really fazed by it. So it's a good win for Dortmund away from home against Copenhagen. I think Dortmund is going to be one of these teams that people doubt. Again, last year, after they made the Champions League final, last year, a lot of people doubted them. They still were pretty competitive in the league phase. This year, Dortmund's fixtures are actually not that bad. So it's not out of the realm of reality to predict Dortmund could get a top 8 finish in the Champions League. It's not like a crazy shout because Dortmund's fixture schedule for these 8 games isn't incredibly hard like PSG's. Doesn't have like 2 or 3 heavyweight matchups like Bayern or Barcelona. So yeah, Dortmund, if they keep it up, obviously I want to see them eventually get clean sheets or only concede 1 goal. But you go away to Copenhagen, tough ground to play at. You will take a 4-2 win any day of the week. So Dortmund continuing their impressive form. Yes, they lost to Bayern this past weekend, but in general, Dortmund this season, they've been impressive. They've only lost 1 game, which was the Bayern game. So Dortmund continuing their good form, and I hope they keep on continuing it. Newcastle against Benfica in St. James's Park. This was always going to be a Newcastle win. I think a lot of people really underrate how hard Newcastle at home is. How hard of an away fixture that is. That's why I was very impressed with Barcelona's win there. Very impressed with Barcelona's win. But yeah, Newcastle with the job. Benfica just never had a chance. I knew Newcastle would get this dub. I knew it. The quality for Benfica is not there. They don't have the player, the personnel. They don't have a manager in Jose Mourinho, a finished Jose Mourinho, to be able to cope with the high energy pressing style of Newcastle at home. They can't. They can't deal with it. And I knew that going into the game. So by no surprise, Newcastle finished this game off 3-0. Listen, they probably should have had 4 or 5 goals. And, to Benfica's credit, they probably could have scored 1 or 2 max. 2 max, but if we're being real, Benfica probably had really 1 good chance the entire game. So Newcastle deserved to win 3-0. Yeah, Newcastle's definitely gonna be one of these teams that goes to the playoffs. That's for sure. So we're gonna have to wait and see what they do in the playoffs, but yeah. Yeah, as long as Newcastle get these wins at home, obviously the Barcelona one, they get a pass because it's Barcelona. But as long as they get these wins at home secured and they go away from home and win the games that they're supposed to, they're absolutely going to be in the playoffs. And they would probably in the playoffs have a very good chance of advancing to the round of 16, depending on who they get. But I would have faith in them. I would back them in the playoff positions. Next game, this is a big one right here, man. What the hell was this? What the hell was this? And you know what's always it's always funny? I always feel like a player, so if for context, Noah Lang is a player that was at PSV for a couple of years and he moved to Napoli. And it's so funny, I always feel like when a player moves to another team and then those teams get matched up right away, they always get battered. And this time, Napoli away from home is 6-2, 7-2 PSG versus Leverkusen. We're going to get to the Liverpool 5-1, the Chelsea 5-1. But for me, this is by far the most embarrassing performance of the week. The most embarrassing scoreline of the week. A red card, conceding 6 goals. I believe the 6 goals Eindhoven scored here, this is the most goals anybody has ever scored against an Antonio Conte side. So I did not expect this. Very impressive from PSV. I don't know what this means for PSV for the rest of the league phase. I'm not going to set crazy expectations or heightened expectations for them now, but I think this is just one of these anomaly games. But even if it's just an anomaly game, so embarrassing for Napoli. You're the champions of Italy, man. Have some fucking respect for yourselves. The champions of Italy cannot go to any away ground, whether it's Real Madrid, Bayern, Man City, and go get smacked up 6-2. But you absolutely, as the champions of Italy, of Serie A, you absolutely cannot go to Eindhoven and lose 6-2. You can't do that. So huge L for not just Napoli, for Serie A, because these are your champions, and they got bummed. 6 goals in a game? Ridiculous. Napoli. Listen, I don't think this is going to ruin their Champions League campaign. They'll come back. They'll get some wins. But I think in my predictions, I think I predicted Napoli to finish top 8 with a performance like this, 3 points dropped like this. I think Napoli, with this result, are kind of setting themselves up to have to go through the playoffs, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it is what it is, dude. It is what it is. You got to go through the playoffs, and you deserve to go to the playoffs if you have performances like these. Unacceptable from the champions of Italy. Serie A. Makes Serie A look so bad as well. Like if you're an AC Milan fan, Inter Milan fan, you just look at that result and I know they're your league rivals, but you look at that and you're like, ugh, like what the hell? Like you guys are our champions, you're making us look bad. Yeah. Anyway, we go through to the next game, and a serious Italian team going away from home to Belgium. Inter get the result 4-0. Deserved the win, but what has to be said is Union, they should have had like 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. Union should have had a goal in the second or third minute, and then just a couple minutes after that, they had another massive opportunity. Jan Sommer producing an amazing save. Again, Jan Sommer coming to the rescue for this Inter team like he was doing all the time last season. Listen, Jan Sommer is I think Jan Sommer will go down as like one of the like top 3 most underrated goalies ever in the history of football. Genuinely, I feel like this guy still doesn't get his flowers. Like people don't put him in a top 3. They don't put him in the best goal in the world conversations. He absolutely deserves to be there. But yeah, Union didn't take their chances in the first 5-10 minutes of the game. Came back to bite them in the ass. Inter, 4 goals, 4 clinical goals. Well, actually, the first goal was a little bit of a scramble Off a corner, Dumfries gets it, and then Lautaro Martinez on that second goal. What a beautiful strike. Top right corner. I mean, if you haven't seen that goal, go watch it. I mean, it's as upper 90 as you can get. Brilliant finish from Lautaro, and then in the second half, they wrap the business up with another 2 goals. 4-0 professional win for Inter, expected. And then Villarreal versus Man City, wrapping up the games from Tuesday. Villarreal versus Manchester City. Good performance from Man City. You know, my biggest coming into the season, and from what I saw at the beginning of the season when they lost to Tottenham and Brighton, my biggest question marks for the City team was the defense. But I believe City have now gone 4 games in a row with a clean sheet. And to go away from home against Villarreal and get a 2-piece and a clean sheet, more importantly, that for me, that clean sheet is the most impressive because Villarreal, yes, the league standings and everything don't look great for them, but this team has played good football this year. This Villarreal team has played good football this year. They're not some bum team like Union. They're not a bum team like Kairat and Pafos. They're a good team. They're a good test. And City went there again. The freak Haaland scoring again. I mean, Haaland. Every time Harry Kane scores, Haaland scores. Every time Haaland and Kane score, Mbappe scores. These 3 men are going tit for tat, tit for tat. Tit for tit for tit, tat for tat for tat. I don't know. How, like, like tit for tat is between 2 people. So what's tit for tat for 3 people? Tit for tat for tot. We'll say tit for tat for tot. Good win from City. Not much to analyze here. It was just professional. They dominated the game. Bernardo Silva with the second goal himself as well. I think Cherky came on and got some minutes in this game too. So that's significant. I think Cherky, by the way, if you saw after his injury, man, these Man City dudes, these Man City doctors, they malnourished Cherky. Cherky looks like a skin and bones version of Cherky. He doesn't look the same. So I'm expecting a different level Cherky, a Cherky with football tesh, and now he has real fitness. Well, that's one of the key moments for me here. Cherky coming on and getting minutes because I think they need a little more attacking spark, this Manchester City team. With Cherky back, once he's back and the team comfortable, he can bring that attacking spark that I believe they need. So, yeah, City with the 2-0 win there against Villarreal. And now let's head over to the Wednesday games. Athletic Club 3-1 win at home. They scored 2 worldies in this game. I mean, go back and watch the highlights. Those 2 goals, bangers. And I love their stadium because everyone shows up in the red and white stripes. And whenever Athletic Club score, you just see this wave of red and white stand up. I genuinely love watching Athletic Club goal celebrations. I always that's like an underrated thing I like to do. Sometimes I'll just watch comps of limbs, crowds going crazy. I think Athletic Club is one of the most underrated crowds in Europe. When every time they score, it's just this sea of red and white all coming up at the same time and just this loud burst of sound. But yeah, Karabakh made this a difficult game for them in the first half, but Athletic Club eventually pulled away. They scored bangers. They buried Karabakh 3 points. And yeah, Athletic Club just building those points up after that embarrassing performance they had earlier in the league phase. 3-1. Galatasaray at home, 3-1 as well. You expect that. If you're Galatasaray, I think I predicted them to finish outside of the playoff spots. But if you're a Galatasaray fan, these games at home, they're must wins. You need to collect your points in Rams Park, where it's a hostile environment, where you have a mega advantage with how much the fans in that stadium support you guys. Galatasaray need to get their points, maximize their points with their home games. They get the job done here, 3-1. Osimhen with a brace. Yeah, Osimhen with a brace. Osimhen on a slightly good form. He scored that hat trick. Was it a hat trick or 4 goals against Benin in the CAF World Cup qualifiers? I'm forgetting. But he got a couple goals for Nigeria in the international break. So Osimhen kind of ramping up his goal scoring. So yeah, Galatasaray getting the job done, showing that they are a serious team, that they aren't going to drop silly points at home. I know Bodo Glimt is a good team. They'll attack, they'll create chances, but a team like Galatasaray, if you want to show that you're serious, no excuses. You get this win at home, and they did 3-1. We move on. Atalanta Slavia Prague, horrible, horrible, just horrible result. Genuinely, I don't know what is going on with Atalanta, but to drop points at home against Slavia Prague, that's criminal. That's criminal. Genuinely, you can't do that. You can't do that. Now, I know they've lost a bit of attacking power. Why? Because Lookman is just not the same right now. Lookman wanted to leave Atalanta. He didn't get his move away, and he just hasn't been playing at that level. They just aren't playing like you expect Atalanta to play. You know, Atalanta, when they burst onto the scene in 2019, 2020, since then, you always think of Atalanta as a team that's going to attack you, create a bunch of chances, and score a shit ton of goals. To finish 0-0 at home against Slavia Prague, embarrassing. Embarrassing and unnecessary dropped points. Atalanta really pushing their luck with their form in the Champions League, really pushing it. You know, they are a team that should be finishing in the playoff spots, but with performances like these, just keep an eye out for yourselves, Atalanta, because you could find yourselves easily outside the playoff spots if you pull up and play some shit like this and pull up with performances like this. So, Atalanta, pick yourselves up, man. Have some respect for yourselves and get a goddamn win. Next game, Bayern versus Club Brugge. As a Bayern fan channel, guys, I already posted my post-match reaction to this game the day of the game, 2 days ago. Yesterday, more like yesterday. Yeah, I won't go too much into it, but Bayern dominant. Should have been 7, 8 goals probably. Lennart Karl, banger in the 5th minute. Harry Kane, best player in the world. Bayern company, just such a good blend of defense and attack right now with the midfield pivot of Kimmich Pavlovic. I was gonna say the midfield pivot, like Joshua Kimmich and pivot. That's how tired I am right now, guys. After this video, I'm going straight to bed. But yeah, they just look so good right now. And I think the one thing I'll say about Bayern, a lot of people are worried or saying, "Oh, they're peaking too early. Oh, they're playing too well too early. They're gonna drop off." But I genuinely don't believe this. I genuinely don't believe that. The reason why is you guys, 2 of our best players aren't even in the team. They're injured. One, Alphonso Davies, who is a huge, huge, huge player for us. And 2, the best player at this goddamn club. As much as I say Harry Kane is the best player in the world right now, do not be mistaken. The most talented player at FC Bayern is Jamal Musiala. And actually, funny enough, he stepped on the training pitch for the first time since his horrible ankle injury in June or July, whenever that was, to work with the ball today. So great to see. But yeah, Bayern 4-0. I don't think they're peaking too early. I don't think we're peaking too early. So we keep moving and racking these wins up. Still undefeated. Still haven't lost a game this season. Chelsea versus Ajax. I think 5-1. It's weird. On surface value, for me, 5-1 is flattering. It is. But on the other hand, it's not, because Chelsea were by far the better team here. Yes, Ajax got the red card. I think it was Kenneth Taylor with the horrible challenge on Buonanotte. But even if it was 11v11, I think you just saw from the opening minutes of the game, Chelsea were better. Chelsea were going to win this game if it was 11v11. But the reason I say it's a little flattering is if you go back and watch the goals Chelsea scored, what is it? 2 penalties, 2 deflected goals, like 2 horrible deflection goals. Like, just unlucky for Ajax to concede 2 of those goals today. The Caicedo goal, and I'm forgetting the other goal that was deflected, but the Tyreek George goal. The Tyreek George goal and the Caicedo goals, if you're an Ajax fan, you have to feel a little hard done by. You have to feel pretty unlucky. And then 2 penalties of just sloppy penalties. So it's a flattering scoreline in the sense that 4 of the goals were just meh, but through the general run of play, it's not, because Chelsea were the much better team. I think for me, one thing to say about the Chelsea team is Estevao, man. Estevao. Yeah. I think he's one of the only valid up-and-coming Brazilian talents. This kid is good. I could already tell right now. This was one of the first games where I actually watched more than 40 minutes of him play. Dude, Esteval's good. Esteval's goddamn good. And if I'm Enzo Maresca, if I'm a Chelsea fan, I am demanding Esteval be the starter in this Chelsea team now. I'm demanding it because the performance was that good. I mean, it got to the point where at the end of the game, Esteval is trying like a bicycle kick in the box with 3 guys around him. That's how confident and how good of a game he was having against Ajax. So very impressed with Esteval. Good win for Chelsea 5-1. Some sloppy goals, but fully deserved win for the London Blues. And yeah, Caicedo's playing great. Enzo playing great. I thought today, actually, a guy who has been pretty underwhelming for Chelsea since he arrived, Jamie Gittins. I thought Jamie Gittins was showing you the Dortmund Jamie Gittins, the Jamie Gittins that Chelsea scouts saw when they wanted to sign him. This was Jamie Gittins. That was his strongest game in a Chelsea jersey as well. So good 5-0 win for Chelsea. And then we go to another result, another Bundesliga team disgracing my league. Frankfurt 1, Liverpool 5. Really, just the performance Liverpool needed after losing what was it, 4 in a row, 4 in a row. Going down also. Remember, Liverpool, if you watch the game or if you watch the highlights, Frankfurt went up first with a Christensen goal in like the 16th minute, whatever it was, 20th minute. So Liverpool went down in this game 1-0 away from home. But a nice lightning counterattack from Ekitike, 2 corner goals from Van Dijk and Konate, and in the second half, Szoboszlai with a banger and Wirtz getting himself 2 assists in the second half. It ended up being a comfortable day at the office for Liverpool. Wirtz getting his first 2 assists. Liverpool back on track with the 5-piece against Frankfurt. Again, just like the other games where teams get smashed, Frankfurt, what is this, man? Schoolboy defending, no resistance, second half just awful. The way they defended those corners as well, just what the fuck are you doing? As professional footballers, what the fuck are you doing defending corners so trash? I understand it's Van Dijk and Konate, 2 big towering center backs, but it was literally way too easy for those guys to just run into the 18-yard box, 6-yard box, and get a free header. Way too easy. So schoolboy defending from Frankfurt, but for Liverpool, maybe this is a performance that turns the form around. We'll see. Salah didn't start, and when Salah came on, oh my lord, he was horrible. Oh my lord, Salah was horrible again, coming off the bench. And apparently after the game, Salah just stormed down the tunnel. So Salah is feeling the frustration. Salah is feeling the pressure. I see a game again. Yes, Frankfurt got smashed, but trust me, this Frankfurt team is much better than they showed on the day. They are much better. Trust me, as a Bundesliga fan, you can trust me on that. But Liverpool just looked better without Salah out there. They looked better with a right winger that wouldn't lose the ball 70% of the time or shoot the ball over the crossbar 100% of the time, as Salah has been doing the last 2 months. So, I don't know, man. This weekend, I won't be surprised if Arne Slot drops Mo Salah again this weekend in the Premier League. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't be surprised. So, good day for Liverpool at the office. Wirtz getting his 2 assists, like I already mentioned. Hopefully, this opens the floodgates slowly for him, getting these assists, just feeling like he's part of the attack, just feeling like he's creative, understanding his teammates, whatever. I'm sure these 2 assists feel nice for Florian after all the hate he's gotten in the media. So, yeah, Florian Wirtz, Liverpool, they get the job done. 5-1. Monaco at home against Tottenham. Not much to say here. 0-0. Yeah, that's it. 0-0. I mean, if you're Tottenham have the last couple games been really unimpressive. Their attack has just like dried up. Tottenham's attack has literally just dried up, like poof, into thin dust. They're not scoring goals. They're not creating a lot of chances. Kudus is not getting involved as much. So Thomas Frank has some things to figure out with this Tottenham team, but yeah, 0-0. Not much to say here. Real Madrid versus Juventus at home, 1-0. Professional win from Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham getting that winning goal, 1-0. But this wasn't like Juventus were horrible, by the way. Juventus were trash, but this wasn't like Real Madrid 1-0, but they were extremely dominant, and Juventus looked like a La Liga 2 team. Real Madrid just was struggling to break him down. Now Juventus is going to be defensively resilient, I understand, but at home from Real Madrid, especially going into that El Clasico this weekend after Barcelona won 6-1 as well, I wanted a little more oomph from Real Madrid in this game. I wanted Mbappe and Vinny to flex their muscles a little. Mbappe score a goal, assisted by Vinny. Mbappe brace, Mbappe hat trick. I wanted like a statement victory. Like Arsenal against Atleti, I wanted like a 4-0 from Real Madrid on the day because I really don't rate Juventus. Their squad, their style of play, their manager, I don't rate them. Their league, I don't rate them. So to only come away with 1-0 for me, not red flags. There's nothing, you got the win, you got the clean sheet, right? But just disappointed as an outsider looking in from Real Madrid. I really expected more. But I think a big positive for Real Madrid is Jude Bellingham back, playing more consistently, and he gets the goal today. He gets the goal on the day. So it's 3 points. Real Madrid moves, keeping that high position in the league phase. You know, that's all most of these teams really care about, is just getting these games over with, getting those 3 points, and just trying to avoid those playoff spots. So Real Madrid 1-0. And then the final game of the match, match day 3, a surprise result for me. I really don't think Sporting is a good team. I really don't. But at home, they get the turnaround victory against Marseille. Marseille did go up in like the 3rd or 4th minute via Corentin Tolisso goal. But they get a red card, and things kind of fall apart for Amir. And away from home, they end up losing 2-1 now. Marseille's a team I think Marseille's a good team. They're doing well in Ligue 1 right now, the McDonald's League. Their performance against Real Madrid earlier in the league phase, I thought was impressive. I think Marseille here, though, losing away to Sporting, this was a result that I wanted to see them win. I was predicting them to win this game. When I made the league phase predictions, I predicted every match. I thought they would go and get this dub. Marseille's team is good, but maybe these away fixtures might be a little bit too much for them. Might be, because even if you go 10 men down, I do think this Marseille team is just a lot better than the Sporting team. I do still expect them to go ahead, close the game out, and win. But they didn't deliver. They didn't deliver with that in this match. So, in my opinion, through my eyes, an unexpected 3 points dropped from Marseille. But for Sporting's perspective, good to get the account open, good to get those 3 points. Maybe this will turn something around for them. I don't think so. I don't think Sporting will even make the playoffs. This is just kind of like a fluke. In my mind, this is a fluke victory. That's how much faith I have in this Marseille team. So yeah, that's the Champions League. Let's kind of just zoom out. Let's go to the league table. Here it is. PSG in first. The top 8 is as it stands. PSG, Bayern, Inter, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Dortmund, City, Newcastle in the top 8. In the playoff spots, you have Barcelona, Liverpool, Chelsea, Sporting, Karabakh, Galatasaray, Tottenham, PSV, Atalanta, Marseille, Atletico Madrid, Club Brugge, Athletic Club, Eintracht Frankfurt, Napoli, and Union in the playoff spots. And outside the playoff spots, you got some kind of big teams here. You have Juventus, Bodo Glimt, Monaco, Slavia, Paphos, Bayer Leverkusen, Villarreal, Copenhagen, Olympiacos, Kairat, Benfica, and then the most embarrassing of the bunch, Ajax. The historical great club of Ajax is last in the Champions League phase. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. But yeah, it's been your boy Hokage. I shaved, by the way, too, guys. How do I look? Nice, clean shave. Yeah. It's been your boy Hokage. That's what we learned from the Champions League this week. That's what we learned from these fixtures. Let me know if you like this video. Maybe I can make it shorter next time. Kind of just actually go through just the key matches, not go through every single game. But yeah, whatever. More content. 40 minutes or so of it. But yeah, it's been your boy Hokage. Champions League action. We'll be back in I think 2 weeks before we go on another international break. So, some good ties to look forward to. My eye is on obviously PSG versus Bayern when those games roll around. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.